Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into my YouTube channel. Today I want to do another video on the My Setup series. And the My Setup series talks about my setup for a particular type of bait category, or maybe a couple of different bait categories. It goes over the rod, the reel, the line setup for that specific technique or couple of techniques. I've already done this video, but something in the upload process didn't get everything out on the internet, so I took that one down. Gonna redo this one. This one is a my setup for fishing buzzbaits and toad style baits. Not frog type baits, but toad. What I mean by a toad is a soft plastic toad. Before I get into it, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you like the content, please give me a thumbs up. And I would love to hear from you, so drop a comment down below. So here I'm going to share with you the setup that I use for fishing buzzbaits and toads and why I think it's important to use this type of outfit. I like a 7'4" heavy power fast action. I like a longer rod because when you're talking about fishing buzzbaits and toads, you're talking about a bait that you can cast a long ways and cover a lot of water with, because that buzzbait blade really, it gurgles up the water. It sometimes clacks the head. Sometimes maybe it has a little noise attracting clacker on the wire form itself. So it has an ability to draw fish to itself. And based on the conditions, you can use different types of buzzbaits, smaller buzzbaits, larger buzzbaits, and sometimes even like a double bladed prop like this. I'd use something like this if it was, say, overcast, maybe rainy, maybe windy, different things like that, maybe more muddier water, decreased visibility, where I really want to get the fish to come to the bait where they couldn't see it otherwise. And then with this one, I might fish it in some clearer water, greater visibility, but maybe there's a ripple on the water, maybe it's a little overcast, maybe there's a little breeze, and then it goes down further and further until I get to a toad. And I feel like a toad, you could fish a toad on slick, calm conditions over more grassy areas or more cover-filled areas, vines, grasses, lily pads, where a lot of times those would get kind of wrapped up on the blade. So then you could reach for a toad to go through those types of cover a little bit better. So let's get into why I choose this type of an outfit. So again, the buzzbait and the toad are great drawing. They have a great drawing capability, and so I can make longer casts over a grass flat, over across a point or a hump, or over a stump field, and different things like that, and be able to pull fish from a greater distance because of the noise and the surface disruption and the flash and different things like that, and the movement as it comes across the water. So with that, I can cover a lot of water with it. And when I can cover a lot of water, I want to be able to cast further. And a 7'4" enables me to launch that bait a little bit further. And then I want to go with a heavy power, because with that buzzbait, you have a decent size medium to medium heavy type of hook right there. That's a single style hook right there, or single type hook right there on the buzzbait. And a lot of times you're going to catch some bigger than average fish on the buzzbait. So if he's out there on the end of a long cast, you hook him up, you engage that rod, and that's why I want a fast action rod, because that fast action is going to kind of bend like this. It's not going to bend tremendously down in the blank. It's not an extra fast where a lot of it's in the tip, but it's a nice kind of a gentle, not totally parabolic, maybe a 70-30 type bend in the rod. 70% is nice solid black backbone, and then up there in that 30%, it's going to bend a little bit more. With that, I'm going to fish a 7.5-to-1 or 8-to-1 gear ratio reel. I like a faster reel. I'm pairing that 7'4" heavy power with a Lew's Hyper Mag. And that Lew's Hyper Mag is a nice lighter reel, and of course that 7-to-1 gear ratio helps me when I throw that buzzbait up there. I can just bring it up to the surface. It planes out really easy, whether it's a toad or a buzzbait, gets it to plane out and get up on top of the water, especially if I'm in cover situations. So the faster gear ratio, Lew's Hyper Mag's great. The rod that I'm using is a Lew's Magnum pitch and stick. It's out of their Team Lew's Custom Pro line of rods. This rod is, again, going to enable me to control the fish. When I'm fishing a toad, I can set the hook through that plastic there. and I've got a heavier gauge, this is a XXX strong hook, I want to be able to set the hook and expose that hook so that I can drive it into the fish's mouth. So important to have a heavier power rod. And then I'm going to go with braided line. I like 50-pound test braided line. When it comes to fishing toads and buzzbaits, doesn't seem to really make a difference. I don't feel like I sacrifice bites for this more opaque, heavier powered line. So a lot of guys are saying, hey, mono, fluorocarbon, different things like that. For buzzbaits, I prefer braid. And again, if you have something that you like, just stick with what works for you. This is just my setup and what works for me, rod, reel, line setup for when I'm fishing buzzbaits and toads. The braided line that I'm using is a Strike King tour grade braid, and I like that green color. That green color like that, I feel like camouflages really well, even if it's in ultra clear water or around grass, stumps, lily pads, and even out on clear water over points and humps and wherever you might find a buzzbait or a toad getting the call for the day. So that's my setup for fishing buzzbaits and toads. Rod, reel, and line setup for any time I'm fishing buzzbaits and toads out there on the water. And again, it's turning into the fall of the year. We're getting out of that summer, still super hot, but moving towards some of those top water times as the late summer, early fall starts to kick in. That's it for now, guys. If you like this video, again, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and until next time, good fishing.